morning. Libra, land, 1010. The dark ones are in my phone. I can't even play back videos here on YouTube. I have to watch them from the beginning. I cannot even scroll halfway into a video that I just watched and press play. It's stopping me. So the dark ones are in my phone. Get out of my phone. Ooh wee. Ticked off this morning because I'm speaking out about the AR, the AI garbage. Ooh wee. No, I did not say AR. That is not what I meant to say. The AI garbage. Hi, DJ Rojo. So I'm going to be using the Book of Doors Divination deck for this reading, an alchemical oracle from ancient Egypt. Also, I have a collection of books from my grandmother. My Life with Martin Luther King Jr., written by his wife, Coretta Scott King. I'm going to grab that. We're going to read some out of that book. I'm just going to pick a random page. And also, I have The Story of My Life and Work, Booker T. Washington's own story of his life and work. Oh, very old books from my grandmother's collection. We're going to read out of that and see what comes out. I'm going to get some more coffee. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Please give this read a thumbs up. I am on one today. We're battling against racism and AI. So, the real stand up. They're definitely going to try to hide this video. Oh my gosh, what's new? What's new? Whoa, 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 whoa. What's new? Whoa, 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 whoa. I hope none of my Libra supporters support those fake AI tarot reading channels. I don't care if they have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K views. They're bought and farmed. It's all fake. They're trying to take the real ones out. And if you you let a robot read you tarot, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I don't see how people watch that stuff. I don't think those views are real. That mother effer is not real. That ish is not real. It can't be real. There's no way 40,000 people watch a robot, an AI, read you your tarot. Like, there's no way. There's no way. And they use brown people as a cover-up. They use brown people's hands, brown people's images. Like, that ish blows my mind. Blows my Yeah, they're not letting this video get out. 9 people. I've been banned to the shadow realm. Wow. I don't care. We're going to do it. I'm not stopping. We're going to do this. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. All right. My Life with Martin Luther King Jr. by Coretta Scott King. Let's just pick a page and read before we get into the cards. Here we go. The fuel that finally made that slow-burning fire blaze up was an almost routine incident. On December 1st, 1955, Mrs. Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old seamstress, whom my husband aptly described as a charming person with a radiant personality, boarded a bus to go home after a long day working and shopping. The bus was crowded, and Mrs. Parks found a seat at the beginning. Ooh-wee. I don't know if I can say that. Of the brown people's section. Okay. At the next stop, more whites got on. The driver ordered Mrs. Parks to give her seat to a white man who boarded. This meant that she would have to stand all the way home. Rosa Parks, oh, I'm getting angry. This is a page in this book that I just randomly turned to. Oh my gosh. Rosa Parks was not in a revolutionary frame of mind. She had not planned to do what she did. Her cup had run over. As she said later, I was just plain tired and my feet hurt. So she sat there, refusing to get up. The driver called a policeman who arrested her and took her to the courthouse. From there, Mrs. Parks called E.D. Nixon, who came down and signed a bail bond for her. Mr. Nixon was a fiery Alabamian. He was a Pullman porter who had been active in A. Philip Randolph's Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and in civil rights activities. Suddenly, he also had had enough. Man, get the beep out of here, you racist trolls. Get out of here. Get out. Suddenly, he had had enough. Suddenly, it seemed almost every brown person in Montgomery had had enough. It was spontaneous combustion. Phones began ringing all over the brown people's section of the city. The Women's Political Council suggested a one-day boycott of the buses as a protest. E.D. Nixon courageously agreed to organize it. The first we knew about it was when Mr. Nixon called my husband early in the morning of Friday, December 2nd. He had already talked to Ralph Abernathy. After describing the incident, Mr. Nixon said, "We have taken this type of thing too long. I feel the time has come to boycott the buses. It's the only way to make the white folks see that we will not take this sort of thing any longer." Martin agreed with him and offered the Dexter Avenue Church as a meeting place. After much telephoning, a meeting of black ministers and civic leaders were arranged for that evening. Martin said later that as he approached his church Friday evening, he was nervously wondering how many leaders would really turn up. To his delight, Martin found over 40 people representing every segment of brown people's life crowded into the large meeting room at Dexter. There were doctors, lawyers, businessmen, federal government employees, union leaders, and a great many ministers. The latter were particularly welcome, not only because of their influence, but because it meant that they were beginning to accept Martin's view that religion deals with both heaven and earth. Any religion that professes to be concerned with the souls of men and is not concerned with the slums that doom them, the economic conditions that strangle them, and the social conditions that cripple them, is as dry as dust religion. From that very first step, the Christian ministry provided the leadership of our struggle, as Christian ideals were its source. The meeting opened with brief devotions. Then, because E.D. Nixon was away at work, the Reverend L. Roy Bennett, president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance, was made chairman. After describing what had happened to Mrs. Parks, Reverend Bennett said, "Now is the time to move. This is no time to talk. It is time to act." Martin told me after he got home that the meeting was almost wrecked because questions or suggestions from the floor were cut off. However, after a stormy session, one thing was clear. However much they differed on details, everyone was unanimously for a boycott. It was set for Monday, December 5th. Committees were organized. All the ministers present promised to urge their congregations to take part. Several thousand leaflets were printed on the church mimeograph machine, describing the reasons for the boycott and urging all brown people not to ride buses, to work, to town, to school, or any place on Monday, December 5th. Everyone was asked to come to a mass meeting at the Holt Street Baptist Church on Monday evening for further instructions. The Reverend A.W. Wilson had offered his church because it was larger than Dexter and more convenient, being in the center of the brown people's district. Saturday was a busy day for Martin and the other members of the committee. They hustled around town talking with other leaders, arranging with the brown people-owned taxi companies for special bulk fares and with the owners of private automobiles to get the people to and from work. I could do little to help because Yoki was only 2 weeks old, and my physician, Dr. W.D. Pettis, who was very careful, advised me to stay in for a month. However, I was kept busy answering the telephone, which rang continuously, and coordinating from that central point the many messages and arrangements. Our greatest concern was how we were going to reach the 50,000 Black people of Montgomery, no matter how hard we worked. The white press, in an outraged expose, spread the word for us in a way that would have been impossible with only our own resources. Let's go! Unite! All skin colors! Unite! As it happened, a white woman found one of our leaflets, which had a Black person's maid had left in the kitchen. The irate woman immediately telephoned the newspapers to let the white community know what the brown people were up to. We laughed a lot about this, and Martin later said that we owed them a great debt. On Sunday morning, from their pulpits, almost every brown person's minister in town urged people to honor the boycott. This is wild. I just turned to a random page in this book from my grandmother's collection, My Life with Martin Luther King Jr. by Coretta Scott King. This is what I am reading from. A random page. And look what it's talking about. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. On Sunday morning from their pulpits, almost every brown person's minister in town urged people to honor the boycott. Martin came home late Sunday night and began to read the morning paper. The long articles about the proposed boycott accused the NAACP of planting Mrs. Parks on the bus. She had been a volunteer secretary for the Montgomery chapter and likened the boycott to the tactics of the white citizens' councils. This upset Martin. That awesome conscience of his began to gnaw at him, and he wondered if he was doing the right thing. Alone in his study, he struggled with the question of whether the boycott method was basically unchristian. Certainly, it could be used for unethical ends, but as he said, we were using it to give birth to freedom and to urge men to comply with the law of the land. Our concern was not to put the bus company out of business, but to put justice in business. He recalled Thoreau's words, "We can no longer lend our cooperation to an evil system." And he thought, he who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Later, Martin wrote, "From this moment on, I conceived of our movement as an act of massive non-cooperation. From then on, I rarely used the word boycott." That was an excerpt. That was a small portion of My Life with Martin Luther King Jr., written by Coretta Scott King, off my library shelf. Now I'm going to pick a random page from Booker T. Washington's own story of his life and work. Here we go. 14 slaves brought into the South a few centuries ago in ignorance, superstition, and weakness are now a free people multiplied into 8 million. They are surrounded, protected, encouraged, educated in hand, heart, and head, given the full protection of the law, the highest justice meted out to them through courts and legislative enactment. They are stimulated and not oppressed, made citizens and not aliens, made to understand by word and act that in proportion as they show themselves worthy to bear responsibilities, the greater opportunities will be given them. I see them loving you, trusting you, adding to the wealth, the intelligence, the renown of each Southern Commonwealth. In turn, I see you confiding in them, ennobling them, beckoning them on to the highest success. And we have all been made to appreciate in full that, quote, "The slave's chain and the master's alike are broken. The one curse of the race held both in tether. They are rising. All are rising. The black and white together. Liberland 1010. I can't make any of this up. The most encouraging thing that happened in connection with this convention was an address delivered by ex-Governor McCorkle of West Virginia. Shut the freaking front door. That's where I live. For anybody that's ever not known, that's where I come from. This is where I live. What the beepo? I can't make any of this ish up if I tried. Shut the front freaking door. of his life and work. Oh, God, I got to say that again. The slave's chain and the masters alike are broken. The one curse of the race held both in tether. They are rising. All are rising. The black and white together. Oh, my God. The most encouraging thing that happened in connection with this convention was an address delivered by ex-Governor McCorkle of West Virginia, in which he took the position that the time had come when the southern states must face the race problem bravely and honestly, that the South could not any longer afford to get rid of the brown people's ballot by questionable methods, and that the southern states ought to pass a law which would require an educational or property test or both for voting, and that this law ought to be made to apply alike to both races honestly and fairly, and that there should be no evasion permitted or attempted. Governor McCorkle is a Southern man, a Democrat. The words which he spoke on this occasion received the most hearty cheering, and the convention on the next day passed a resolution without a dissenting vote, recommending Governor McCorkle's suggestion in the settlement of the franchise question in the southern states. The influence of this convention was most beneficial on the minds of the southern white people and gave encouragement to the brown people and to his friends throughout the country. As I write this chapter, a conference is being arranged by the leading white citizens of Montgomery, Alabama, which it is intended shall be there during May of each year. What is happening? Both books have referenced Alabama. And now my state, West Virginia, is in here, which blows my mind. And May, we are in the month of May right now. The object of this conference is to afford an opportunity for free and generous discussion of the race problem from every point of view. This movement, organized as it has been at the seat of the Confederate government, is most remarkable. Ooh-wee. Seems fitting that Montgomery should be the place where from year to year the best thought of the nation can assemble and assist in working out our national problem. In closing this chapter, I simply wish to add that I see no reason why the race should not feel encouraged. Every individual or race that has succeeded has done so only by paying the price which success demands. We cannot expect to get something for nothing. We shall continue to prosper in proportion as each individual proves his usefulness in the community, as each individual makes himself such a pillar in property and character that his community will feel that he cannot be spared. Oh my gosh. Wow, 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 wow. Can you tell that injustice and racism gets me really freaking hype? Can you tell, Libra land? 26 people in this chat. They are definitely trying to shadow ban this message. 2424 on the live timer, 24 thumbs up. Danielle says, I see 29 in the chat and only 5 thumbs up. That's because they're in my phone. They're on my channel trying to hide this message from the general public and from my over 74,000 subscribers. Thank you to everybody that has given this live stream a thumbs up. Let's get into the freaking cards. Let's go. Do not support AI readers. That ish is fake. How are you going to let a robot read you freaking spirituality? That ish is fake AF. Let's see what the Book of Doors would like to tell us. An alchemical oracle from ancient Egypt. Our ancestors cry. Our ancestors have, don't let those tears go in vain. Don't let those tears of your ancestors go in vain. I've been this way my whole life. This is not new. Let's go. Thank you to all the real ones. Let's freaking go. Support the real. Support the real. First card out. Kikut Tepi Aun family. Let's see what this means. Look who's at the bottom of the deck. This is us, Libra. Ma'at. This is us. Only the real can pass through the doorway. Are you keeping your heart as light as a feather? You have to be courageous. You have to be courageous in this life, Libra. You have to be courageous with your good heart. You cannot keep the blinders on. Remove the blinders. Stand up for your ancestors. Be courageous. Speak. Speak. Get back into the books. Oh my God. I was literally, I've been channeled for us to get back into the books, and this is what they wanted me to do. This is what the ancestors wanted me to do today. Get into the books and read you passages from these powerful books. Okay, let's go. Tepi Aun K Koot. Obscurity. Divine meaning. Through the darkness, there is a glimmering of light and hope. With perseverance, this light will blossom into a new perception of the world. It's an uprising. It's an uprising. The truth can no longer be hidden from us. I'm reading this card. Through the darkness, there is a glimmering of light and hope. With perseverance, this light will blossom into a new perception of the world. Oh, to dare it means. Kekut also holds the scepter of prosperity. In the maxim to know, to will, to dare, to keep silent. She is the to dare. So it's like the dark is daring the light. to press forward, to have courage. I don't dare me. Don't dare me, Libra, to dare. Truth or dare? We'll do both. We'll embody both. The dark is like daring the light to stand up, to keep shining, to have courage. And so we will. And so we will. Don't dare a Libra. Don't dare a Libra. Her number is 6, which is the union of opposites, the harmonious union of light and darkness. She is both separation and union on a different level of existence. The blue of lapis lazuli in this card again indicates Venus. Hello! And for the Egyptians, this stone with its tiny golden veins was an image of the starry sky and an indication of the stone's celestial origin. As very ancient principles, Kekut and Keu are identified with the gods Ka and Kate, the former called the grandfather of all the gods, and the latter the grandmother of the divine company. She is the grandmother of the divine company. And I literally told you guys, I got those 2 books, Booker T. Washington's own story of his life and work, and My Life with Martin Luther King Jr., written by Coretta Scott King. My grandmother. They belong to my grandmother. And guess what? I put a cup of coffee on my altar this morning for my grandmother, whose books that these belong to. My grandmother moved to West Virginia from New Jersey, and she did not understand how bad it was here. She couldn't understand the racism. She couldn't understand the backwardness of this state. What is the difference between white and black? Green. Green. What is the difference between white and black? Green. She wrote that on a piece of paper that I found in one of these books. Let me see what else she wrote. Let me see what else she wrote. I have it in my Bible. Come through, my mom. Come through. Let's freaking go. She raised 2 black men, my grandmother. My mother has 2 adopted brothers. They were twins from the Dominican Republic, and she adopted them as babies and raised them. I have 2 twin brown uncles. Easy sailing. Prejudice is a great time saver. Perhaps that's why it attracts. It enables us to form opinions without battling with facts. Ruth M. Walsh wrote that poem about prejudice. This is my grandmother's writing. Divine Feminine, stand up. Grandmothers, stand up. She also wrote, without bothering with facts, not battling. Prejudice is a great time saver. Perhaps that's why it attracts. It enables us to form opinions without bothering with facts. Hello. The city I live in doesn't want change unless it affects them materially, personally. Part of the good old boys. Woo! The difference between black and white is green. Why are there more churches per capita than anywhere else and none integrated? This is when she moved to West Virginia from New Jersey. She could not understand the racism here that still existed. When good people do nothing, it will continue. Yo. When good people do nothing, it will continue. If you're not part of the problem, you must be part of the solution. These are more notes that my grandmother wrote down. When good people do nothing, it will continue. If you're not part of the problem, you must be part of the solution. Wow. Wow. Beautiful. Did you hear the bird? The birds co-sign this message. I'm not going to just stand by anymore. Oh my gosh. Let's read Ma'at. That which is straight. The goddess Ma'at is the personification of the basic law of all existence. She is truth and justice, and her name embodies the highest philosophy. The central concept of Egyptian civilization, the role of the pharaoh was to be her defender and her living embodiment. The king was the personification of Ma'at, a word we translate as truth or justice, but has the extended meaning of the proper cosmic order at the time of its establishment by the Creator. For it was believed that the gods had first ruled Egypt after creating it perfect. The land of Egypt was considered to be a reflection of heaven, embodying the dimensions of the cosmic order, or Ma'at. In the card, she kneels upon a pedestal on which the throne stands. And the throne is part of the hieroglyph of her name. Also part of her name is a straight measuring tool or instrument used by Egyptian craftsmen, a rule or measuring rod, which also incorporates the idea of a rule or law that the people lived by. So the word Ma'at was used by the Egyptians to express not only a physical measure, but also the principle, it's the principle of right, true, real, genuine, upright, honest, steadfast, etc. Not born from any god, Ma'at was with Tehuti in the boat of Ra when the sun god sailed from the primeval abyss of Nu for the first time. The path of Ra in his journey across the sky was already defined by Ma'at. She regulated his appearance in the morning and his setting at dusk, presiding over the unfailing cosmic order reflected upon the earth and the lives of all who lived there. She is described as the daughter and eye of Ra. Ceaselessly emanating from the divine Ra, of whom she is at the same time herself the nourishment. She is the mediator and the vehicle of the essence of Ra. Even Ra, the greatest of all the sun gods, lives by the cosmic order of Ma'at, the beautiful. Divine feminine Libra. This is who we are in this incarnation. You are the daughter of Ra. Ma'at, the beautiful. That's why you're so beautiful. You're divine. The inseparable companion and complement of Ma'at is Tehuti, the scribe of the gods and master of divine words. Tehuti needs the order and harmony of Ma'at for his sacred writings and magical formula to be effective. Likewise, Ma'at needs Tehuti, the medium of mind, of Mercury, for her law to be expressed on earth. For she herself is a cosmic principle and detached from the vagaries of human existence. Ma'at rules everything, the time and season of all the gods. She is the presence of beginning and end in all times and all worlds. Without her, nothing can exist, for she was the food and drink of Ra himself. She is the source of all aspects of the goddess, and she is also their fulfillment as the consciousness of all consciousnesses. As upholders of divine justice, Egyptian judges were regarded as the priests of Ma'at. And in the Duat, Ma'at ruled over the hall of judgment, where the souls of the dead made their confession. In her double form of Ma'ati, the Ma'at goddesses of the north and south, she presided over the weighing of the heart, in which the heart of the deceased was placed on the scales of justice and balanced against the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of truth. Being light as air, the ostrich feather balanced the purity of the heart of the deceased, with Tehuti present to scribe the soul's account in his ledger. Here, Ma'ati awards every person their due, and in double form, she is justice on either side of death. She is Lady of Heaven, Queen of the Earth, Mistress of the Underworld. She is known by the ostrich feather worn in her headdress, or sometimes held in her hand. Here she is shown with outstretched wings, the cosmic Ma'at bearing on her wings the three alchemical colors of transmutation: white, red, and black. Ma'at, as justice in its divine state, incorporates the Hindu concept of karma, which means action in Sanskrit. Every action has its reaction, Every cause has its effect. Every thought is a seed. Yet we are free at any moment to change everything, to overcome any seed we have planted in a past or existent life. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You are free at any moment to change everything. To overcome any seed we have planted in a past life or this existent life. In order to change, we need only to be united with the principle of Ma'at, to be totally straight with ourselves. The judgment is the weighing of the heart. The heart is the knowing function, but can only be trusted when the mind is in the heart. Ma'at and Tehuti are the heart and mind in perfect unity. From her name to her effective reality, Ma'at in this cosmos is the truth in all things. Ma'at is the key to the reason for man's life, the key to the theological and mystical philosophy of Egypt. Divine meaning, truth and justice, higher laws operating to influence events. Hey Who, out next. Hey Who. Let's read. Same family, Tepi Aun. Eternity. The hieroglyph He is the sound of life and spirit and is connected with a word which indicates an unlimited and undefined number. H-E-H. Heh. It means millions of years or infinity when it is applied to time. Hehu and his counterpart Hehut personify the masculine and feminine elements of fire. In one representation of the primordials, Hehu has a frog's head, and Hehut has the head of a snake. Oh, look who's here at the bottom of the deck. They showed up together. I can't make any of this up if I tried. The divine feminine counterpart, Hehut, right here. They showed up together. The masculine and feminine principles of fire. 2026. Year of the fire horse. I feel the fire running through my veins this morning. Hehu has a snake head. Hehut has the head of a cat. Both the cat and snake are well-known hunters. In this aspect of the hunter or warrior, Hehu and Hehut disperse the darkness. Oh my gosh, another message of the light barreling through the freaking darkness. Another message of the light overcoming the darkness. It's good versus evil, Libra land. Whose side are you on? Let me put this card out here. I just have to cover up her chest. Here we go. Both the cat and snake are well-known hunters. In this aspect of the hunter or warrior, Hehu and Hehut disperse the darkness by subduing Apep, the enemy of the sun. Hehu represents primordial time, eternity, and primordial fire. The principle of fire, or the creative spirit, when it passes through the 8th phase, Kerhet polarizes itself and matter is created. When something repeats itself, the object polarizes itself. In this multiplying aspect, the repetition becomes one emphasis, Hehut. It becomes eternity. Hehu is shown standing in the water and mud, surrounded by the element of fire in the darkness. He holds in one hand the scepter, which means prosperity, and in the other he holds the Ankh of life. The triangular skirt he wears is drawn in the proportion of pi, Phi, representing the universal order brought into creation by Hehu and the other primordials. The order brought out of chaos. The skirt covers the chakras, the subtle energy centers located respectively at the base of the spine, the sensual center, and the navel. They are related to the elements of earth matter, water, and fire. With his frog head, Hehu stands for the transformation and evolution of these elements through his fiery, generative energy. As the element of fire, Hehu is represented by the salamander. In the human, he represents the will. In comparison with the tarot, he is the seed of the wand. Hehu is the number 3. He is the eternal present in time. He is now. The time is now. This is, again, more messages from the ancestors. We're just doing another message from the ancestor reading. Oh, the time is now. The significance of the cycles of time in the Corinth's life. The right time to act for long-reaching success. Next up, Hehut, here at the bottom of the deck, his counterpart, they came out together, means eternity. She is shown standing inside a snake that forms the sound heh, meaning eternity, infinity, millions of years. In the hieroglyph of her name, we have the female, indicating direction and concretization. When she is shown with the head of a snake, Hehut is the energy of generation. You have generations of your ancestors that have your back, Libra. Generations. You ride with them. You ride with them, and we serve the Most High. Do you feel the power? I got the power. Power. It's getting kind of hectic. It's getting kind of hectic. Yeah, it is. But do you feel the power? Because they're with you. Hey, Hut is operating in infinity, in eternal time, in the evolution and transformation of the human race. Her number is 4, which is connected with the phases of the mother, with the moon, and with its influence on water and the germination of life, alchemically. Hey, Hut is the mercurial fire, which generates life. Like her counterpart, Hey Hu, in her left hand, she holds the scepter of prosperity, and in her right, she holds the Ankh of life. In every one of these cards, they hold the scepter of prosperity. And in these 2 cards, they hold the scepter of prosperity and the Ankh of life, which is also protection. Your prosperity is protected. Just keep doing the good work. Whoever I'm reading for today, whoever resonates with this reading, keep up the good work. Don't just fall off at the wayside. Now is the time to continue to rise. You are in a battle of good versus evil in this lifetime. It is what it is. We did not incarnate for BS. We incarnated to fight this spiritual battle of good versus evil, of light versus dark. Don't wimp out now, Libra. This is what I'm getting channeled from the ancestors. You incarnated as a Libra sun. You have felt the energy of truth and justice in your veins since you were born. You're doing a good job. You're doing a real good job. You're stronger than the average bear. That's what I heard. Oh, you're stronger than the average bear, Libra. You're stronger than the average human. Divine meaning. The possibility of transcending time limitations, spiritual evolution, and transformation. One more card. I love that, Laura. Little but mighty, baby. Little but mighty. We might not look like much. Like, we might not look like giants, divine giants, but your soul and your spirit is giant. You run this ish. Banu! Baby, this is one of my favorite cards. Banu just came out. A whole little pile came out, so I'll honor it. Oh my gosh, look at her. Look at this goddess pouring out all those ankhs. Double cup, double chaliced. Look at her pouring out the gold and prosperity and the ankhs of protection and a healthy life. Look at this goddess pouring it out on us, Libra. And this is the Phoenix. Oh my gosh. Oh, all set. All set. With young Moses. All set just came out with young Moses. And we have this cow. May-ert. All right. Let me cover up Osset so I can put her on the table here. Let's move Renenet up. We'll put May-ert down here. And let me cover up Osset and baby Moses. Pardon me. All right, here we go. Let's read. Ooh-wee. Bottom of the deck. I've never heard of her. Anur en Rek. She's got like this white smoke billowing from her hand. And she's holding some type of scepter in her other hand. So we'll see what she means too. Make sure to give this read a thumbs up, please, and thank you if you haven't already done so. All right, first up, Banu. This is one of our spiritual guardians, Libra. Banu. To shine, to rise. I am Banu, the soul of Ra. To shine, to rise. The wonderful Banu, with its brilliant red and golden feathers, was the sacred bird of Heliopolis, or Heliopolis, identified as a heron with its long, straight back and head adorned at the back with 2 erect feathers. The Banu was later called Phoenix by the Greeks. Fabulous stories were told about it. In Heliopolis, the Banu bird played a major role in Egyptian mythology, dwelling on the Benben stone, or obelisk, within its sanctuary and revered alongside Ra and Asar. For it was in the city of the sun where the work of creation began. The Banu bird was said to create itself from the fire that burned on the top of the sacred tree in Heliopolis. Thou art the great Banu who was born on the incense trees in the house of the great principal, the great prince in Heliopolis. Let's light some incense. Let's light some incense. As I read. Is my window open? No, I need to go open my window. Ooh, my ear's ringing. Come through, spirit. Let me go open my window. Ooh, my right ear's really ringing. Wow. Spirit is sounding off. Ooh, wait. Oh. I'm pissed off the demons. Ha ha ha. Good. Good. I'm for the good. I'm for the real. I'm for the raw. The soul of Ra. The sun rose in the form of the Banu to shine out across the world, renewed each morning. But the Banu was also a manifestation of Asar and was said to spring from his heart as a living symbol of the god. In the Book of the Dead, there are formula to transform the deceased into the great Banu. I said, if I come back, next lifetime, I'm going to be a bird. Fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly. Oh yeah. Fly life into the future. We're gonna feed the babies with no shoes on their feet. Baby Moses right here with Osset. Ah. Here, the deceased says, I am the Benu, the soul of Ra, and the guide of the gods in the Duat. In another verse, he says, I am pure. My purity is the purity of that great Benu, which is in the city of Sutton Henin. For the Benu is the quintessence of birth, of rebirth. It rises from its ashes as the spiritual body rises from the dead physical form. As the new sun rises from the old, it is the new condition reached when the return to life is accomplished, namely the resurrection of Asar. There's records the Benu bird making its appearance only once in 500 years. Coming from Arabia, carrying in its beak an egg of myrrh that contained its father's body. This egg is similar to Jeb's egg that was laid on the primordial hill and gave birth to the sun. I just heard Memphis. New Memphis. I don't know. It's just what I heard. The egg within which the whole alchemical process of transformation is effected. When the Benu became old, he built a nest of scented incense twigs in the sacred tree and lay down and died. A small worm appeared from his body that metamorphosized into a bird, and thus the Benu was reborn. The planet Venus was called the star of the ship of the Benu Asar, mentioned as the morning star in this invocation to the sacred sunbird. I am the Benu, the soul of Ra, and the guide of the gods. In the Tuat, let it be so done unto me that I may enter in like a hawk, and that I may come forth like Benu, the morning star. Divine meaning of Benu. Renewal of life and energy, rebirth, shedding the old, the heavy, the outdated, feeling as free as a bird. Thank you so much, Deborah, for that heart gift. I appreciate you. Next up, Renanet. Renanet pouring out double chalices of protection and prosperity for us, Libra. I am noticing the cobra at her feet. The cobra. Renanet. She's pouring this out for those of us that have done the work. She's pouring out protection and prosperity for the Librans that have done the work. You continue to be real in your day-to-day life. You continue to have a good heart. You fight against the dark courageously. You are being showered from the heavens with protection and prosperity. Literal gold. For those that continue to do the work.
Renenet is the beneficent and protective goddess of nursing. Shout out to anyone that works anywhere in the medical field. My nurses, my doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, death doulas. She is always with Mescanet and Shai, and like the three fates. Wow. These three interconnected principles always function together. In the Book of the Dead, they are mentioned as being in the Ma'ati Hall of Judgment. Wow. Wow, we got Ma'at. Ma'ati already came out. Now we have the three fates. She is the beneficiary and protective goddess of nursing. Ma'ati Hall of Judgment, to the left of the balance. So she and the three fates reside to the left of the scale, okay, in the Hall of Judgment, where the hearts of the dead are weighed. In Egypt, the left side was considered the side of death. The breath of death. You're absolutely welcome, Dorad, my beautiful solstice star. You are absolutely welcome. This message is for you and my other real ones today. Only the real. And you are definitely one of those real ones. Yes. The breath of life was said to enter the body through the left ear, while the breath of life entered through the right. Oh, the breath of death was said to enter the body through the left ear, while the breath of life entered through the right. In the Duat, Mescanet is shown as a funerary goddess. She is the doorway between birth and death, between body and spirit. As the goddess of nursing, Renenet is holding two vases, like breasts, from which she pours a golden stream, indicating the fertility and abundance associated with her name. Together with Mescanet, she is present in the birth chamber as a nurse, and she protects and nourishes the child after it is born. Osset with baby Moses literally came in right after this card. She's pouring these blessings upon this mother and child and protecting. As a goddess of the harvest, Renenet was identified with a form of Osset and also with Shesheta, both goddesses most strongly connected with Sirius and the transmission of stellar energy as nourishment for the subtle bodies. The nurse, Renenet, is the vital link through which the energies are absorbed by the child to sustain its physical life. And the flowing of her breast milk suggests the river of the Milky Way. Divine feminine, man. Without you, none of this is possible. None of this. This entire world is not possible. Bless you always, Solstice. Thank you so much for that super thanks. Thank you so much. The flowing of her breast milk suggests the river of the Milky Way, emphasizing the abundance available through her. Instead of bearing a snake's head, this image of Renanette shows her in female form. Oh my God. Guess what came on Sirius radio this morning after I took my daughter to school? God is a woman. God is a woman. Yeah. And when it's done, you'll think God is a woman. Shout out to Ariana Grande. God is a woman. God is a woman. Thank you, DJ, for that gift. And when we're done, you'll think God is a woman. Yeah. Divine Feminine, stand the freak up. God is a woman. Yeah. Instead of bearing a snake's head, this image of Renanette shows her in female form, with her head surmounted by a solar disk between horns and the unfolding spirals above. The vases pouring life and gold in her hand symbolize the flourishing growth around her and the enjoyment of the good things in life. Her feet touch the sacred snake, the power of the female principle, and the energy linking the earth and the heavens. The serpent encircles round as a type of gestation, and this serpent ring was the first shape of the wren. It is interesting to note that in India, snakes are the guardians of the earth's wealth. And here, Renanette is giving this wealth generously and abundantly. Divine meaning, good fortune, wealth, plenty, nourishment for the body and the spirit. And God is a woman. We risk our lives to give birth. We risk our lives to give birth. God is a woman. Offset, Ra, next, the mother and child. How fittingly. All these readings, the veil has dissolved here at Libra Land 1010. If you don't know, you should know. The veil is dissolved, non-existent on this channel. Offset. Let's go. No AI crap over here. Straight up connection to the divine. No AI crap on this channel. Straight up connected to the divine. The throne. Exactly. The throne. Libra, we are seated on the throne of the Most High beside her. Aset, or Isis, was the greatest and most loved of all the Egyptian goddesses. Her celestial symbol is the star, Sept, S-E-P-T, or Sirius, the source of life. Her terrestrial symbol is the throne, the earth power principle, which transmitted to her son, Heru, gave him the ruling power over the double land of Egypt. In the story of Aset and Ra, I think God is mother and father. I've told you guys that 100 times. I think God is mother and father. I think it takes both. But that does not take anything away that women bring in life. Women are more powerful than men in this life. And it's been backwards for thousands of years. So, sorry, not sorry. Women risk our lives to give birth. In the story of Aset and Ra, we see Aset as a cosmic goddess who also wanted to have terrestrial power as a woman and magician. In this story, she creates a snake to bite Ra, who has become old and feeble. And dying of the snake's venom, Ra trades his secret name and supreme power over the heaven and earth for Aset's healing ministrations. She absorbs his power and passes it on to Heru, who becomes the young sun with the divine right to rule over the earth, a power which he in turn transmits to the pharaohs. The consort of Aset is Asar, the first god to die and be resurrected. Both Aset and Asar walked the earth in human form, survivors of the catastrophes that destroyed the earlier civilization of Atlantis. In the early history of Egypt, they were described as coming as teachers, bringing the knowledge of agriculture and healing, and established the first temples of the gods. When their task was completed, they were said to return to the stars from where they came. For Aset was the soul of Sirius, and Asar dwelt in Orion. Orion, even though I think it's supposed to be pronounced Orion. And I've always said that to you guys for years too. I'm like, oh, Orion's belt. It looks like Orion. 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 That's just me though. I've never heard anyone else say that. That's just me. That's what I think. I don't think it's Orion. Orion is O''Ryan. And it sounds sort of Irish, like Orion. It's Orion. Doesn't Orion sound more cosmic to you than Orion? Yeah, but that's just me. That's just me. Aset was always depicted as Asar's loyal and loving wife. And when he was tricked and murdered by his brother Seth, Aset searched the land for his body and gathered together all of the scattered pieces to make the corpse live again. Live again. Only one part was missing: the phallus. So Aset created life and the solar principle, Heru, out of herself. Are you serious? Sarah Bay from Paris says in French, we say Orion, like you said. It's not Orion. Ooh! Nice, Sarah. Thank you for that confirmation in the chat. I love learning new things. In the form of a bird, she sought her brother's body ceaselessly and went round and over the face of the earth, uttering cries and moans. And she did not desist from her quest until she found it. When she saw he was dead, she produced light with her feathers, and air by the beating of her wings. And then, by means of the words of power which she had obtained from Tehuti, she roused Asar from his state of helplessness and inactivity and united herself to him and became with child by him, and in due course brought forth her son Horus in a lonely place unknown to any. Auset not only gives birth to Heru the sun, she also revives the dead Asar. She makes the corpse live again. This myth concerning the resurrection of Asar epitomizes the human condition. For Asar, while connected with Auset and the principle of life, is not subject to the cycles of human death and rebirth. But when he conjoined himself with Nebhet, the principle of corruption and decay, he lost his immortality and was subject to death at the hands of Seth. While Asar was united with Auset, it was not possible for him to die. But Nebhet caught him into her fatal embrace, and Seth, the principle of fixation, slayed him. Only Auset had the power to restore his immortality, and her son conceived through Asar is Heru, the son reborn. The son conceived by Nebhet through Asar is Anpu, a messenger and guide from the realm of the dead. It was Auset who took care of Anpu, who was abandoned by his mother, and he was always her loyal companion. Wow, I talked about how my grandmother adopted 2 twin boys earlier in this live stream, the grandmother that I read from her 2 books. She adopted 2 twin boys. Through her devotion extended to Anpu in the Duat, Auset is seen to govern even the principle of death and decay. She contains all of the principles within herself. One of the symbols closely associated with Auset is the scorpion, a guardian and protector. Also, by the physical contraction and expansion of the scorpion's body, especially its tail, it symbolizes the rhythmic contraction and expansion of the vital life functions. Breathing, sensual activity, birthing. Also, the scorpion, in order to escape, stings itself to death. While Auset was escaping Seth to give birth to Heru, she was accompanied by 7 scorpions. Ooh, I have chills. She also had a powerful ally in Tehuti, who assured her that Heru shall be made to sit upon the throne of his father, and he shall avenge him and take possession of the rank of the prince of the 2 lands. Disguising herself, Auset sought refuge at the home of the queen of the district where she was wandering. But the queen, not recognizing her and afraid of the scorpions, shut the door on her. Instead, a poor woman gave her refuge. Later, however, one of the scorpions stung the queen's son, and hearing of her great sorrow, Auset returned to the queen's home and restored life to the child, laying her hands on him and uttering words of power. When her own child Heru was bitten by a scorpion sent by Seth, Auset herself was overcome with grief. Again, Tehuti came to her aid, saying, "Fear not." For Auset, having taken human form, experiences human emotions, including fear and sorrow. Tehuti also gives her the message. O Isis, thou goddess, thou glorious one, who hast knowledge how to use thy mouth, behold, no evil shall come upon the child Horus, for his protection cometh from the boat of Ra. I have come this day in the boat of the disk from the place where it was yesterday. When the night cometh, the light shall drive it away. For the healing of Horus, for the sake of his mother Isis, and every person who is under the knife shall be healed likewise. Later in his life as a great warrior, Heru confronted Seth to avenge his father, Asar. They fought together for 3 days and nights. And when Seth was to the point of being overpowered by Heru, Aset intervened to save him. She could not allow one principle to be destroyed. To do so would mean the end of creation. Heru is a limited principle, being only one of the eyes of Ra. He cannot see the other side because it is opposing him. Oh my gosh, like we can't, like one of our eyes can't see the other eye. Like it's true, like unless you look in a mirror, you know, your left eye can't see your right eye on your face. Hello. Furious with his mother for saving Seth. Whoa, he cut her head off. Tehuti, with his words of power, replaced her head with the head of a cow. No way, Sway! The card that came after Aset is the cow. How? No way, Sway. It literally has gone in order as the cards that have come out in this reading, Libra. How? This is crazy. The nurse that protected the mother and child, and then to Aset, that turned into the freak. What? The cow. This is crazy confirmation. I told you the veil is non-existent here on Libraland 1010. You can't deny it. Oh my God. What the heck? Oh my gosh. This is nuts. This is... What the freako? This is so amazingly powerful. You can't deny my connection. You cannot deny that spirit speaks through me. I am but a humble messenger, but this ish blows my mind. All the neurons and synapses in my brain, it blows. AI could never. AI could never do this. Thank you so much to everybody here that truly supports this space that we have, Libraland. Seriously. I'm so grateful. And I'll say it again. AI could never. Tehuti, with his words of power, replaced her head with the head of a cow, emphasizing her cosmic nature as the Milky Way. The universal attributes of Aset were incorporated in all of the local goddesses throughout Egypt, and some of her forms enumerated are as follows. In her terrestrial aspect, she is related to agriculture, the growth of crops and the harvest, and is specifically a corn goddess. As the personification of Sirius, She was held to have brought about the destruction of the fiend, Apep, by means of her words of power. Fiend, 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 fiend. That just fiend came out in the recorded reading I did last night with the gypsy cards. Yep. As the lady of love, she is the goddess Het. As the great goddess of the Duat, she was Thenenet. As the power of the floody Nile, she was Satet. As the mighty earth goddess, her name was Usert. As the goddess of fertility of the lands, she was Anquet. As the goddess of the harvest, she was Renenet. Goddess of the harvest. Right here. As the goddess of the Duat, her name was Ament, the hidden goddess. As the giver of life, she was Ankhet, the Ankh. Her attributes are unlimited. She contains within herself all principles and all powers, both terrestrial and celestial. Plutarch, in Isis and Osiris, described Auset as having dark hair, fair skin, and blue eyes. Beautiful. Divine meaning, magical knowledge and protection, great powers of inspiration and creativity, the bringing of life and the honoring of the female principle in all things. The honoring of the female principle in all things. Now, last but not least, we read this cow that comes right in divine timing. This just blows my mind. Mayert. Boom, boom. Mayert. Mighty fullness. All right, here we go. I'm reading this card, the cow. Pardon me. Let me get a drink of my coffee. Throughout the dynasties of ancient Egypt, the cow was regarded as a sacred animal and identified with three goddesses in particular, Hehert, Mayert, and Nut. The cow was a symbol of fertility and nourishment par excellence, and under the name of Mayert, represented the abundant and continuous source of matter available for impregnation. In earliest times, she was a female personification of the watery mass that formed the substance of the world. As with Auset, Het and Nut, she is a form of the primeval creative principle, and when she is shown in human form, she takes the image of a pregnant woman ready to give milk, sometimes with a lotus flower twined around her scepter. The lotus form which the sun rose for the first time. She wears the manat of love and pleasure around her neck. In this card, she appears as the great celestial cow, covered in stars, whose home is in the sky. This is so interesting. Why did the fact that aliens take cows come into my mind? You know how they, like, it's only been said that they have taken cows and humans. You know? They beam up the cows. That just went through my mind. And that's so true. They only take cows and humans. You've never heard of aliens taking any other animals other than the freaking cows, right? Right. Just saying, just an observation. How interesting. In this card, she appears as the great celestial cow, covered in stars, whose home is in the sky. In the rites of Asar, the god's body was laid in a wooden box in the form of a cow, so he would be reborn from the womb of the celestial cow. She gave nourishment to the dead in Amenta. And in the book of the dead, the deceased says, I behold Ra, who was born yesterday from the buttocks of the goddess Mayurt, the watery abyss of heaven, or the image of the eye of Ra in the morning at his daily birth. Mayurt in the Book of the Dead, making an image of herself to place under the head of Ra while he is setting in the evening. A similar cow amulet and petition is placed under the head of the deceased, saying, O Amen, who art in heaven, turn thy face upon the dead body of thy son, and make him sound and strong in the underworld. Wow, here comes the trolleys. Oh, you're big mad. Oh my goodness. I'm real. I don't know what you're talking about, Cecilia, but I'm real. I'm real. This is my real hand. That's my real veins. Okay. That's a real freckle. I'm real. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I'm real. So you sound like a troll. You sound like an angry bot or a troll who's mad because I have a true connection to the other side. Why do I owe you an answer, Cecilia? I don't owe you anything. And profit freedom. You're just another bot farmed troll too. Who are you talking to? Who are you calling an idiot? Me or Cecilia? Cecilia is getting hidden from the channel, never to return right now. Goodbye. Profit freedom. Who are you calling an idiot? Because you can get hidden too. Hello? Profit freedom. Who are you calling an idiot? Hello? Okay. Okay, we continue on. Anyway. Let me clear my throat. Ay, ay, ay. Instead of bearing a snake's head, this image of Renanet shows her. Oh no, my bad. Gosh, they try to knock me off my square. Back to Mayurt. Ooh, my nose is twitching. Come through, spirit. Mayurt in the Book of the Dead, Oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Woo! Making an image of herself to place under the head of Ra while he is setting in the evening. A similar cow amulet and petition is placed under the head of the deceased, saying, O Amen, O Amen, who art in heaven. Turn thy face upon the dead body of thy son and make him sound and strong in the underworld. Hapi, Hapi, an ape's head. Tuamutef, a jackal head. And I cannot pronounce that. I'm just going to show you guys. Whatever that says, has a hawk's head. In the pyramid texts, the 4 gods were associated with Heru, the elder, and the 4 pillars that held up the iron floor of heaven. Wow. So remember when we got channeled the iron slab, the floor of heaven? Well, we weren't channeled it. We read it not too long ago. It's showing up again. That is our foundation, Libra Land 1010. Okay? The floor of heaven is your new foundation in this incarnation. Double confirmation. Bars on bars. Don't play with me. In the pyramid texts, the 4 gods were associated with Heru, the elder, and the 4 pillars that held up the iron floor of heaven. They are described as each having a long, flowing lock of hair that becomes a pillar supporting one of the corners of heaven. Later, they became Neteru of the cardinal points and the lords of the 4 quarters of heaven. My sun, moon, and rising sign are all cardinal. Cardinal are leaders, okay? Cardinal signs are Libra, Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer. My sun and moon is Libra and Aries. I'm not telling you my cardinal, I'm not telling you my rising, but please know it's cardinal too. So just stop playing with me. My sun, moon, rising is all cardinal. They also linked with the 4 goddesses who magically protect the body of the dead. And Budge gives them the following attributes. Mesta is linked with Osset, with the stomach and large intestine, and the south. Hapi is linked with Nephet, with the small viscera and the north. What's the small viscera? What is that? Let me turn on my hotspot and let me Google that. What is that? The small viscera. What part of the body is that? Let's see. It's just bad ballsy to share your rising sign or your time of birth, and your rising sign is determined by your time of birth. You know, I've told you guys 100 times, I'm September 30th born, and my sun and moon is Libra and Aries. I'm very balanced because Aries is our opposite sign, Libra. And then my rising is also cardinal. But it's bad ballsy to share your time of birth. It's bad luck in feng shui to share your time of birth. And your rising can be found using your time of birth only. You have to know what time you were born to correctly calculate your rising sign. But the dark ones know our birth charts already, but it just isn't a good look to share your rising sign. But trust and believe, the illuminated ones, they know our birth charts. They know me. They've been coming for me ever since I started this channel. Okay. That's all right, Cowboys fan. That's all right if you don't know what time you were born. You're not done. You're not done. It's okay. All right, let's see what the small viscera is. They quit putting the time of birth on birth records. I don't know why. Like, not everybody's, what's it called? Birth certificate has their time of birth on it. I don't know why that is. It should. It should. But it doesn't. Okay. My baby daddy's birth time. I didn't know this until I got his birth certificate along with his death certificate. Rest in power, rest in peace, Jameer. He was born in Detroit, Michigan, and he was born at 3:33 a.m. and he was a legit earth angel. Like, legit, the realest man I have ever known in this entire life. My child's father, my daughter's father, Jameer, born in Detroit, Michigan, July 16th, 1977, at 3:33 a.m. It's on his birth certificate. And I was blown away. And that made him like either a double or triple Cancer, too. Like, his sun, moon, and rising. I think his sun and moon is both Cancer, but his rising could have been Leo, maybe? I have to double check that. He was either a double or triple Cancerian. Confirmation. He's on the other side, so he doesn't mind me telling you his rising and his birth time because he's already crossed over. But yeah, 3:33 a.m. he was born. Earth angel, 333. And ever since he passed away, I kept seeing 13 and 313 everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. Let's see. What is the small viscera?
The small intestine, also known as the small bowel, is a hollow organ or viscus and is the longest part of your digestive system. It absorbs nutrients and is made up of 3 sections: the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum.
Wow. The small intestine is the longest section of the digestive tract. It is solely responsible for absorbing the nutrients from the food we eat. Well, my small intestine was under attack for years because that's why I've lost so much weight over the years. I eat a normal diet. I eat 1,500 calories, 2,000 calories a day. but my small intestine stopped absorbing the nutrients from my food before I was continually passing them. In the morning, I would have IBS every day for years. And that's why I have lost so much weight. So this is so interesting to me. I love learning new things. I love it. I love it. I'm loving it. Wow. It's approximately 15 to 20 feet long. Jeez. It sits in the abdomen pelvic cavity, coiled between the stomach and the large intestine. It is C-shaped. And it receives the partially digested food from the stomach. The coiled middle section, where the vast majority of chemical digestion and nutrient absorption takes place. The final and longest section, which absorbs any remaining nutrients and pushes waste into the large intestine. The lining of the small intestine is covered in microscopic finger villi, villi. These drastically increase the surface area to efficiently extract vital nutrients, minerals, and vitamins directly into the bloodstream. We learn something new every day here on Libra Land 1010. Every day. Okay, let's continue. Tuamutef is linked with Neith, with the heart and lungs, and the east. Okay, so the north is associated with the small viscera. The south is associated with the stomach and the large intestine. The east is associated with your heart and lungs. And the west is associated with circuit, the liver, and gallbladder. Wow. They had the function of showing the way for the dead in the duat as representations of the 4 directions, the 4 cardinal signs: Cancer, Libra, Aries, Capricorn. As representations of the 4 directions, they prepared the individual for entry into higher states of consciousness. And they encompassed all of the elements necessary for spiritual development. As Heru is the divine light, victorious over the darkness, so the children of Heru shed their light on the path toward realization. And let me just say, when something was mentioned about corn earlier, I realized I would eat this one salsa with my scrambled eggs, and I looked on the back, and it's literally made with GMO corn, and it was tearing my stomach up. I omitted it from my diet, and I started to heal my gut, and I looked at the back of this salsa, and it literally says made with GMO corn. GMO is tearing up our stomachs. GMO anything is not natural and organic to our human bodies, and it is tearing us up. You need to figure out what is GMO if you're having issues like me, stomach issues, and omit that ish from your diet in entirety. I had to. So, yeah, GMO is not it. It is taking our lives. That's another thing that the dark doesn't want you to know. That's another thing, because they promote that GMO fake crap. Yeah, read labels. Read the labels of your food, especially if you're in America. Oh my gosh. They are poisoning us with this GMO crap. As Heru is the divine light victorious over the darkness, so the children of Heru shed their light on the path toward realization. They not only take part in curbing the wicked deeds of Seth, also a mighty warrior, they carry out their duties with the sailors in the boat of Ra, and with the 4 stars of the Great Bear constellation. Oh my gosh. I literally said earlier in this chat, you're stronger than the average bear. I say that a lot. You're stronger than the average bear, Libra. What the beep? With the 4 stars of the Great Bear constellation, where the kingdom of Seth was believed to lie. Whoa. Whoa. I've learned so much during this live stream. Oh my gosh. You're stronger than the average bear, and the bear constellation is where Seth and all his darkness lies. You are stronger than the darkness. You are stronger than the average bear. Woo! They don't want you to hear this live stream. Make sure to like and hype this live, please, and thank you. What the beep? Divine meaning. And then I'm going to go because I've been live for over 2 hours. It's going to take like a whole day for them to process this live stream. I just saw 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 2 seconds. Yesterday, we Googled the meaning of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 1 second. And today, we're about to Google the meaning of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 2 seconds. 20202. Keep doing the progress. Keep making your small steps, Libra. Every freaking day, you are doing the great work that you came here to do, my friends. This is amazing. So amazing. Divine meaning, help and direction are given. Conservation and protection. Preparation for a new phase in life. Libra, we are being prepared for a new phase in our lives. And let's Google 20202 meaning. Let's freaking go. What is the numerology meaning of 20202?
Numerologically, 20,202 suggests new beginnings and balance. It encourages trust in your path, maintaining harmony in relationships, and embracing spiritual growth, as it signifies a time of divine guidance.
Number 2 represents duality, harmony, balance, cooperation. It is a sign to trust your intuition, focus on diplomacy and teamwork. Appearing multiple times, its energy of empathy and support is heavily magnified. Number 0 represents the Alpha and Omega, infinity and boundless potential. It amplifies the numbers it touches and signals the start of a deep spiritual journey or a fresh cycle in your life. Stay balanced, stay blessed, my dear friends at Libraland 1010. Peace. AI could never.